As the second impeachment trial for former President Trump moves forward today, there's a big question hanging over Republicans right now. Who's the leader of the party? We're already seeing this play out in the state of Arizona, where this weekend, Kelly Ward, a candidate backed by Trump who was pushing his election fraud claims, baseless ones, well, she won re-election as chairwoman of the party. That should tell you where Republican voters are, at least in Arizona. Joining us now to discuss, former chairman of the RNC, Michael Steele, and co-founders of the new outlet Punchbowl News, Anna Palmer and Jake Sherman. Michael, what do you make of what's happening in Arizona? We've been saying for weeks, Republicans, they're going to be distancing themselves from Trump since the insurrection on the Capitol. But now you've got an election fraud pusher being reelected to run the party in Arizona, while the Republican governor was censured by his own party for taking action to protect his state from the coronavirus. What is going on?
Well, I think you just got to back up. I don't know why people keep insisting that the party is somehow going to start running away from Trump. I've never believed that, and it's not going to happen. They will double down, and as this impeachment trial unfolds, you will see just how much the party is in lockstep with the man who was impeached for a second time. So what the Arizona party did in censuring Cindy McCain and the governor, what you see happening in the Republican caucus with Jim Jordan and the so-called Freedom Caucus. There's nothing free about that. Trying to take out, Liz Cheney. That tells you exactly where the party's head is right now. So everybody else needs to adapt and adjust to that and stop thinking that somehow there's some miracles going to occur, that because Trump is not there, that all of a sudden Republicans are going to act like Republicans pre-Trump. That's not going to happen. This has been brewing and churning for quite some time. I know it firsthand from my time as national chairman. It was not something that just popped up on the screen in 2009. That goes back to the 1980s. It goes back even further in some cases. So there's a long trail here, Stephanie, that tells us exactly where the party is leading itself and is away from those things that it once stood for, towards something that looks more like Trumpism, or what they call populism.
Jake, you talk to Republicans on the Hill every day. What do they tell you?
Well, I just want to say something about Arizona. I mean, we have to keep in mind that Arizona has now Republicans have lost both Senate seats in Arizona. They were once held by John McCain and Jeff Flake, and now are held by Democrats. So the Arizona Republican Party is not, it doesn't really have anything to write home about, so to speak. But listen, I think it's going to be very difficult to see any more than 4 or 5 Republicans split with Trump and vote to impeach the president. The president, according to Maggie Haberman, our colleague and friend, tweeted over the weekend that there are obviously fewer votes for impeachment today than there would have been January 7th. Absolutely 100% true. And the president recognizes that. And listen, and as Anna, and I know Anna knows this, but I'm sure Michael Steele knows this as well. The base of the party is still with Trump, 80%, 75, 80%. So, the political incentive to call the president out is almost non-existent. So, this is, Stephanie, this is basic political calculus that's going on here, which is the voters are with the president. We're not going to win elections unless we have our base. And we have to be with Trump. Ipso facto, we have to be with Trump.
Okay, but what about the political calculus that Trump will and has turned on anyone? Anna, there was reporting over the weekend that President Trump was threatening to start a third party, and then he wasn't. Are Republicans actually listening to this? Because if he does start that third party, that will crush them come 2024 in terms of splitting the vote. But if he plans on starting a third party, he could change his mind on any given day. He's never stood up to his word.
Well, one thing Trump has proved over the past 4 years, he can change his mind any given day, no matter what. I do think there is a split in the Republican Party. You even have seen people like Ronna McDaniel, who's head of the RNC, and Lindsey Graham saying, no, we don't need another party. We need to try to come together as one Republican Party. But the president clearly feels bruised by what happened on January 6th and the fact that a lot of Republicans didn't defend him as much as he had hoped. And so I think that's going to be playing out in the next several days, weeks, as we see, is he able to get back on social media? He's had a very muted megaphone since he was kicked off. We're going to find out if those platforms continue to do that as a lifetime ban or not. And then how does he continue to find relevance? We know this president more than anyone watches the media, watches television, wants to be a player in it. I don't expect him to go to Mar-a-Lago and just golf all day long and not try to kind of pull the strings on the Republican Party. Whether or not you have people like Mitch McConnell able to effectively stand up to him, we'll see.
So, Michael, let's go back to you. Mitch McConnell may or may not stand up to the president, but we saw the likes of Kevin McCarthy and other Republicans who a week ago were pointing the finger at President Trump for his involvement in what happened on the 6th, suddenly backing off. I want to share what Kevin McCarthy said.
The president bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters.
I thought the president had some responsibility when it came to the response. I also think everybody across this country has some responsibility.
What's your reaction to that, Michael?
It's typical Kevin. I'm not surprised by that. I don't know why anybody should be. Look, after this got out there and started to take shape and form, the one thing that has always been in front of everybody is what will Trump do? We still don't really know, to Anna's point, exactly what that's going to look like, how that's going to play itself out. But what the backroom chatter is, the president's pissed. He's making a list. He's checking it twice, and he's going after those he's considered to have been naughty. And Kevin McCarthy doesn't want to be on that list.
Okay, but Michael,
he needs the Freedom Caucus and those Trump Republicans to stand with him in the House as he's trying to position himself for whatever comes next.
Okay, he's making a list. He's checking it twice, and he's going to do what with it? President Trump lost. Republicans no longer have control of the Senate. They don't have control of the House. What exactly can he do? Tell me who he's gotten elected besides himself.
Look, you're speaking to the choir. I've been saying this for years now. I don't know why they keep listening to the guy. He's not winning races for you. He's not a brand that's buying you, the kind of credibility you need with the American people. Your base is getting smaller and smaller. But that's just this. This is all about primary politics. This is not about general elections. This is not about necessarily taking back the Senate and the House. And the hope is that they can throw enough mud on the Biden administration over the next 18 months so that in 2022, these folks will be positioned to go and say, see, look what he did, and ignore all the stuff that Trump has done. So the reality here, this is not about trying to win so much the race right now. It's looking longer term for sure. But Trump is not the guy that's going to get you there. And until they realize that, you're going to see this back and forth with Donald Trump. He still controls a lot more in this party than people want to believe.
Michael, Jake, Anna, thank you both so much. When we come back, we're not going to talk